Welcome to today's Srimad Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 26, Text 16. King Puranjana goes to the forest to hunt. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Kva vartate sa lalana majjantam vyasana arnave yamamudhareta pragnam dipayanti pade pade kva vartate sa lalana majjantam vyasana arnave yamam mudharate pragnam dipayanti pade pade kva vartate sa lalana majjantam vyasana arnave yamam mudharate pragnam dipayanti pade pade. Mataji's. Mataji's. Word to word. Kva, where. Vartate, is now staying. Sa, she, lalana, woman, majjantam, while drowning, vyasana arnave, in the ocean of danger, gya, who, mam, me, udharate, delivers, pragnam, good intelligence, dipyanti, enlightening, pade pade, in every step. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki. Kindly let me know the whereabouts of that beautiful woman who always saves me when I am drowning in the ocean of danger. By giving me good intelligence at every step, she always saves me. Purport. There is no difference between a good wife and good intelligence. One who possesses good intelligence can deliberate properly and save himself from many dangerous conditions. In material existence there is danger at every step. In Srimad Bhagavatam 10.14.58 it is said, Padam padam yad vipadam na tesham. This material world is not actually a place of residence for an intelligent person or a devotee, because here there is great danger at every step. Vaikuntha is the real home for the devotee, for there is no anxiety and no danger. Good intelligence means becoming Krishna conscious. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Krishna ye bhaje se bara chatur. Unless one is Krishna conscious, he cannot be called an intelligent person. Herein we see that King Puranjana was searching after his good wife, who always helped him out of the dangerous situations that always occur in material existence. As already explained, a real wife is Dharma Patni. That is, a woman accepted in marriage by ritualistic ceremony is called Dharma Patni, which signifies that she is accepted in terms of religious principles. Children born of Dharma Patni, or a woman married according to religious principles, inherit the property of the father, but children born of a woman who is not properly married do not inherit the father's property. The word Dharma Patni also refers to a chaste wife. A chaste wife is one who never had any connection with men before her marriage. Once a woman is given the freedom to mingle with all kinds of men in her youth, it is very difficult for her to keep chaste. She generally cannot remain chaste. When butter is brought into the proximity of fire, it melts. The woman is like fire and man is like butter. But if one gets a chaste wife, accepted through a religious marriage ritual, she can be of great help when one is threatened by the many dangerous situations of life. Actually, such a wife can become the source of all good intelligence. With such a good wife, the family's engagement in the devotional service of the Lord actually makes a home a grihastha ashram, or household dedicated to spiritual cultivation. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadyamayham Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Lagunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishwabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vansha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namo Mahabadanyaya Krishnaya Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaur Tuise Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Good morning, everybody. We can see here how King Puranjana is kind of tired, but at the same time he is very eager to save himself from the anxiety that he is feeling at the moment. So in the previous verses we can see how King Puranjana was inquiring with his wife whether she is happy or not, and whether she is attracted to the paraphernalia that was used for the engagement of sense gratification. And he was also commenting on how the home is a chariot without the wheels. So we can see how he realized for a split second that all these opulences that he has, all the paraphernalia that he has in his home, and his beautiful wife also cannot give him that happiness that he is seeking. But when he has nothing else to turn to, he again turns to his wife and he starts asking for help, so that he could be saved from the anxiety that he's feeling as of the moment. So he is currently telling his wife by praising her that where is that beautiful woman that I always resort to when I'm drowning in this ocean of danger, and how can she give me good intelligence? She saves me at every step. So this is basically the condition of each and every living entity in this world. When we are not connected with our spiritual nature, when we are not connected with Krishna, then we try to seek the next best object to give our love to. And in most cases it is the opposite sex. For the woman it's a man, and for the man it's the woman. And hence you will see that in not only this planet, but even up till Brahma Loka, this is the main entanglement that we face, which is the bondage of sex. Prabhupada here mentions that a chaste wife is called Dharma Patni, which is that if one enters the grihastha or householder life, one can easily progress towards this path of spiritual realization by cultivating Krishna consciousness in a very regulated way. So the Dharma Patni's duty is to help her husband become more and more Krishna conscious by serving him. And how can a woman serve only one man? Because nowadays we see that women are trying to please their senses by engaging with multiple men of different moods and characters, and because of that their purity has reduced significantly. This is not only in the Western world but also started to get prevalent in India as well, especially in metropolitan cities. And hence the concept of grihastha ashram is also on a decline as of the moment. And according to the 12th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it will decline more in future. So The when a householder engages in chaste marriage principles, then his wife gives him good intelligence on how to manage the household as well as progress in bhakti, because the demands for sense gratification reduce significantly when one is chaste, when one is self-controlled. So one can devote more time to spiritual activities, and one understands that spiritual reality is the only reality that we have. And for that, again, one has to be very sincere, determined, and that is the meaning of chaste. We can see from Mahabharata that the wife of Dhritarashtra, um, Gandhari, was a very chaste woman, that even though Dhritarashtra was blind, she accepted that I would blindfold myself for the rest of my life in order to serve my husband in a proper way. She could have served him just as she was. She was actually one of the most beautiful women at that time. But she chose to close her eyes so that she could she could understand the mood and perspective of her husband, of how he viewed the world, what challenges he was facing as a husband, and how can I understand his heart so that I can help him rule the kingdom better, so that I can help him understand God better. These are the qualities of a very chaste wife, that she becomes selfless. For a chaste wife, it is said that the husband is next to God. She worships the husband as good as God. But that is like a very high ideal that one should follow. And ideally, it is the way how it should be. The husband should protect the wife, satisfy all her needs, give her children, Krishna conscious children, and the wife should try to understand the heart of her husband and help him to conquer this great ocean of danger that we are facing always. So in this way, we can see how these two, we always want, like as a child or even as a youth, we always want somebody to love. And when we find that right person who is chaste in nature, who is determined, who is loyal, who is dedicated to the supreme absolute truth, then our life becomes very easy. Because instead of one, now there are two. And the two, when they have the same purpose in mind, when they have the same inclinations, same spiritual determination, then the tasks becomes very easy, basically. So Prabhupada also mentions here that until one is Krishna conscious, he cannot become an intelligent person. So one may inquire as why is a Krishna conscious person the most intelligent person. Even in the Shastras it is said that only the most intelligent persons perform the congregational chanting of the Mahamantra. So for a spiritualist, in comparison to a materialist, the materialist, both are looking for a pleasure, because ultimately the soul's nature is to seek something beyond the mundane. Soul's nature is to seek eternal love and relationship. But the spiritualist inquires through everything. He sees everything, he questions everything, and he then comes to a conclusion that this will not satisfy myself or my senses or my family. And whereas a materialist, even if he knows, for example in Puranjana's case, it can be inferred that he on some level knows that I won't be happy, and that is why he is trying to ask his wife to help him and at the same time he is inquiring from her whether she is happy or not. He's saying that his home is a chariot without wheels, so he's not feeling satisfied. And the same is very relevant for any materialist outside. But that person, rather than going beyond the questioning, rather than searching for something more, he again resorts back to the old pattern of his or her behavior. So that is, and this goes on like a cycle. The more you chase mundane pleasure, the principle of pain and pleasure goes together. So the more you chase pleasure, the more there is pain, and the more there is pain, the more there is the tendency to chase pleasure, and thus it is limiting in nature, and it drags one down to material existence, leaving him or her more and more attached to the sense object that is his or her preferred way of sense gratification. So, good intelligence, when one becomes Krishna conscious, that is a lot of Prabhupada's purports says that Krishna consciousness is not only chanting 16 rounds, following the 4 regulative principles, attending Mangala Arati. This is the process which is Abhidaya Tattva, or how we can attain to Krishna. But the ultimate goal or prayojana is to become Krishna conscious. Krishna conscious means that we are always in connection with Krishna. And that connection is transcendental in nature. It is not of this mundane existence. So the highest goal is to become completely absorbed in Krishna, His service, His thoughts, pastimes, form, name, and your own identity, what you are in relationship with Him, with the Brajvasis. When that stage is attained, then all good qualities of Krishna or the Jiva manifests automatically within himself or herself. That is why in Chaitanya Charitamrita it is said, Krishna je bhaje se bara chatur. Because we see that so many yogis, so many Mayavadis, they are trying to understand the absolute truth in their own way. But after many, many austerities, after many, many births, they still are only able to raise themselves to the platform of Brahman realization, which is just the Brahmajyoti effulgence. But a devotee of Krishna, even though he may not know any of the processes of devotion, any of the austerity process, or yajna processes, karma khanda process, if one simply takes to the devotional practice, then all perfections come to him gradually. And that person can even transcend the position of a Mayavadi or a yogi, and become a pure devotee of the Lord. So now the question arises that, yes, we have started the devotional service. How can we gain unflinching faith and devotion towards the process? Because in our daily lives, we are doing devotional practice, but a lot of times we don't feel so enthusiastic, we don't feel so determined in our practice, and we start questioning whether the materialists are better off or whether I am better off, because they seem to be more happy. But I was listening to Radheshyam Prabhu, and he said that for any person in Krishna consciousness, and especially for the brahmacharis, they should have always the juice or the nectar that comes from the service or chanting. They should always feel it. They should always relish that nectar. And only when one is constantly relishing that nectar can the journey become very easy for them. Or else it becomes quite difficult or quite lagging, in that sense that you are pushing yourself constantly, but you have to understand what is it that you're doing wrongly, basically. What is it that is stopping you from accessing that mercy? Because Mahaprabhu, when he came to this planet, he opened the chest of Krishna Prema and he flooded the whole universe with it. So it is all around us. It's just a matter of accessing it, getting the mercy. How can we do that? Is by unflinching determination. There's a verse in Bhagavad Gita which says that one who has unflinching determination, that person is resolute in purpose and his path is fixed. But one who is not determined or resolute in purpose, for him he sees many paths. So we see that a lot of people say all paths lead to Krishna, but that is their uncontrolled mind dictating them. They don't know the path, they don't know one way. And that's why it's so important for us to develop that kind of faith, that whatever I'm doing, I should do in full concentration. If I can do that, then I can get all perfection. Even if you're doing your work, even if you are going to uni, even if you are going to work, if you just remember Krishna with all your heart and engage your mind and senses completely to the activity you're doing and dedicate the results to Krishna, then you will feel the mercy of Krishna flowing in. When you're chanting, when you're reading, if you're constantly absorbed in it, if you're constantly... so it all starts basically with Shravanam. There are 9 processes of devotional service, starting with Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, of which the first 3 are the most important. And devotional service starts with Shravanam. The quality of your hearing will determine the quality of your chanting and your remembrance. If you are not hearing with one pointed attention, if you're not hearing, and if you're not, and you'll know when you are hearing with one pointed determination, you will know that even though you may not remember all of the things, but just by that attention, it will go inside your consciousness or your chitta, and when you are chanting or when you are doing smaranam, it will automatically come up. Or during some situation when you face some hardship, these things will start coming up. Why? Because you have absorbed it like a sponge. So whatever is most relevant to you, that knowledge Krishna reveals from the heart. Again then, Shravanam should be from the bona fide sources. There are many people nowadays who give Srimad Bhagavatam Katha classes. Even in India, you will see people wearing red saffron clothes, red sannyas clothes, and giving Srimad Bhagavatam, doing a lot of bhajans. But they don't have, first of all, the backing of the parampara, and they don't have any sadhana. Whatever they do is just a form of entertainment for them, or just a form of conditioning, that because they were born in certain families, in a Brahmana family, so they are doing it as a matter of duty. Not even duty, just doing for the sake of doing. And if you listen to them, if you listen to Mayavadis, then whatever spiritual consciousness that you have developed will start eroding away. It will start diminishing, because they don't know the actual tattva. Tattva means the absolute consideration of something. Like tattva, an example can be that the whole nature, the whole creation is female in nature. We are also female in nature because we are the energy of Krishna. So Krishna is the only Purusha and we are the female, Prakriti. So this is called Tattva, which cannot be negated in any circumstances. Like 1 plus 1 is 2, so you cannot negate that. You cannot say 1 plus 1, why cannot be 3? This is something which is factual in nature. So Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the source of all incarnations. This we get praman or evidence from the Vedic scriptures. In Srimad Bhagavatam it is said, Ete chamsha kalapumsha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, which means that all the preliminary portions are but manifestations of Krishna, but Krishna is the original Supreme Lord. So one has to understand the truth of existence of our relationship with Krishna and Krishna himself, his energies, how everything is working. And then when we are established in that tattva, rasa flows. But before that, it will, even if it flows, it will not sit. For it to sit in your consciousness, for you to be able to completely absorb it, you have to be established in tattva. And that is why Krishna says, Janma karma cha me divyam jo janati ve tattvata. Punar janma naiti mameti so Arjuna. One who understands Krishna in tattva, in absolute truth, then only one can transcend this material world. Even in later subsequent verses he has mentioned where one has to approach the spiritual master and surrender to him, ask him questions and do seva, and then the spiritual master will impart on him tattva gyan. So we can understand how important it is for not only, even the jnanis are tattva darshina. They are also trying to understand the truth by knowledge. But for the devotees, if you are doing devotional service, if you are reading scriptures, chanting, and again I've read in Chaitanya Shikshastamrita that the holy name of the Lord is so powerful that if you have literally unflinching faith in that one aspect of devotional service, that holy name alone can reveal to you. There are 9 premayas which are called the absolute tattvas that one needs to understand for realization of Krishna. It will reveal to you just by chanting the holy name. There was one pastime in which in Mayapur, Prabhupada, it was during the time when the temple was being built, and a lot of devotees from foreign countries, they came to India. So there was one devotee who was supposed to do seva of different construction something, but he was just absorbed in chanting. He was chanting all day. So his supervisor, another devotee, he went up to him and he started chastising him, telling him, what are you doing? You are leaving the service and chanting. And that devotee did not pay any attention to him. So he went to Prabhupada. And the devotee said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, this devotee is neglecting the service of Radha Madhav and he is just chanting. And Prabhupada said, can you chant all day? He said, no. Then Prabhupada said, that is the highest goal. So we should understand that chanting is the highest goal for a devotee. But we cannot imitate. We cannot imitate Haridas Thakur. We cannot imitate Vaishnavacharyas. And that is why we are filled with service. So that we are able to give up our false identity, our false ego, and surrender. And the more we surrender, the more the holy name reveals to us. But if you have that kind of unflinching faith, which comes from sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, and sense control. These 3 things, if we are very strong on it, if our sadhu sangha is very strong, if our bhajan or sadhana is very strong, and if our control of the senses and mind are very strong, we will get that unflinching determination. In many verses, Krishna has stated how it is important for a sage to be of controlled mind. Always he has mentioned that one who is controlling his senses, endeavoring to control his senses, and is free from attachment, fear, duality, is a sage of steady mind. And even in chapter 4, Krishna mentions that one who is performing all his fruitive activities without the expectation for the results and is controlled in his mind, that person will attain the supreme destination. So even for a devotee, it's very important to control the mind. The sadhu sangha means not only associating with just anybody. Sadhu sangha means associating with people who are more advanced than us, who are more, who know more, who have more realizations, who fit our mood, because each and every devotee has a different mood, different relationship with Krishna, different rasa. So when a devotee finds somebody who is of the similar rasa and he associates with them, then his spiritual consciousness starts evolving very rapidly. But if you are mixing your rasa, if you are hearing from all sources, then it takes some while. Yes. So, yeah, I will close up here. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Herein we see that King Puranjana was searching after his good wife, who always helped him out of dangerous situations, but always occur in material existence. I was just wondering what sort of dangerous situations Puranjana was rescued.
I can give you the normal examples of like a general person. I don't know specifically about King Puranjana, but a general person faces many problems with his personal life with respects to his parents, the mother's parents, the wife's parents, the wife's friends, society, his own professional job, and the wife. The sweet words of the wife give solace to the person, and not only that, if the wife is very chaste, she can help him manage the situation better. She can give him really good spiritual advice. For example, if a person has his mother-in-law or his own mother who is disturbing him in his spiritual practice, then his wife can take over and manage the situation. But if a woman is not chaste, she will just back off and she say, I have my own things to do. Yes, Hare Krishna. If you look at it from that viewpoint, then it is the same. It's called dharma basically. So the dharma of the water is to be liquid, fire is to be hot, burning, and the dharma of the jiva is to serve Krishna, which is also the absolute truth, that a jiva is born to be Krishna Das. His eternal nature is that, and the eternal nature of the water is to be liquid. So yeah, in that sense, both are same. Yeah. But tattva is more like we cannot understand what is the dharma of Krishna, or what is, but we can understand the tattva of Krishna. Like you can understand dharma of things which are subordinate to Krishna, but Krishna himself is beyond all dharma or karma. But he has tattva. He has constitutional makeup himself, that he is the supreme, that is his position, and that everything emanates from him, how it is emanating, what functions are his energies playing in him, how the spiritual paraphernalia is created, how Radharani is into existence. All that is tattva, because it is related to that supreme position. But the supreme position has no dharma in itself. So I can really give you like a specific definition or meaning, but this is like the understanding of the general tattva and dharma. Dharma belongs to the object, and tattva belongs to the subject. Yes, Prabhu. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He is Brahmaji. So, yeah. Yes. Yeah, it's not possible to chant because he, like for us, we chant 16 rounds, but if someday somebody tells us to chant 32 rounds, it becomes a huge responsibility. But the thing is that the more you get purified uh, by doing service, the more you feel that inclination towards chanting. And we can see from the personal example of Vishnu Jana Maharaj. Vishnu Jana Maharaj, you know him, right? So he was this famous Kirtanya during Prabhupada's time, and he was just non-stop in chanting. He would go out in the morning for Sankirtan, and at night he would just take some hours of rest, and again wake up, again do for Mangalarti, and again go out like for 12 hours a day. They said that he used to be out on streets for 12, and just by seeing him, the devotees would get so riled up and so enthusiastic that they would just implant a bomb wherever they went. So he was in our Krishna consciousness movement. He was one of those guys who embodied that Harinam completely. Ayendra Prabhu. Like he was, and if you listen to the lectures of Ayendra Prabhu, you will understand how much the holy name has revealed to him. How much. Like he would even talk and he would start crying. And he would just try to suppress his crying because his heart got so purified and he got so deep into Braja Bhav and Swarup Gyan and how one can attain Bhav Siddhi and then go on to take a Siddha Day and all that stuff, which practically none of, only the very esoteric Brajavasis or the Babajis go into that. So he used to get dreams of all kinds, Prabhupada, Radha, Shyam Sundar, different beings used to come into his dreams, and yeah, so that is the power of the holy name, Prabhu. And but I know we don't have taste, but if we force ourselves, then Krishna sees the effort. If you force yourself to do 24 rounds today and make a sankalpa that I will do 24 rounds, you will see how it reciprocates with you. Yes, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Yeah. So the accelerator basically is the instructions of the spiritual master, right? Um, and so yeah, the development of rasa should not be the main priority, because we have seen from the lives of devotees, how, like I was talking about Andhra Prabhu right now. So let's take his example. Um, his instruction from from Prabhupada was to do 24 hours Sankirtanan in Krishna Balram temple, and he dedicated all his life for doing that. And when you when you engage yourself completely in the service of Sri Guru and Gauranga, then you know automatically what needs to be done. There has to be no friction in it. But if you're solely focusing on developing your rasa, which it is not practically possible, to be honest, you will not get the mercy because you're not doing service, not doing seva. Seva, I was attending Bhakti Shastri class and Himang Chaitanya Prabhu mentioned it very beautifully. That seva means not only the things that we are doing right now, like cleaning the temple or doing prasad drop or something or the other, doing making milk for the brahmacharis, but it means that following the path shown by the instructions of our spiritual master with full faith and conviction. That is called seva. So if you do that with full conviction that this will मेरा बेड़ा पार यही लगाएगा, like this will take me to the other side of existence, this will give me the thing that I'm looking for, then automatically all other paths will be open. You will know how to develop your rasa, you will know how to engage with whom and not. Yeah, just focus on the service that you are given. But a lot of times what happens is that when we do these things, we forget that we have a internal bhav that we have to develop as well. And that is where the problem lies. That it is good that you are doing Anya Balashita Shunyam Bhakti, which is so amazing. But ultimately, you have to develop that bhav within your heart, so that you can capture Krishna and you can easily access the mercy more. Mercy is always there. We need to know how to shape it, how to internalize it, and if you have that rasa inside yourself, it gives you more motivation to perform whatever you're performing as service in a more deterministic way. So it only propels you further and further. So both things are important, Prabhu. Gear is also important. You cannot always go on first gear, second gear, third gear. So you have to constantly keep that moving, and accelerator is there. Brakes are also there. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mataji. Mhm. Well, I'm not married, so um, for a Mataji who is very spiritually inclined, but her husband is not, this Prabhupada, I'll speak of an example. So Prabhupada's sister, they call her Pishima, and Prabhupada's sister's husband was a pure non-devotee. He was pure non-devotee. And he used to, I don't know whether there was abuse or not, but there was a lot of mental abuse that was inflicted on her. I'm not sure of the physical, but she was so chaste that she used to serve him with all her heart. no matter what. Because she knew that my husband is the way for me. Because the family was Vaishnava family, Prabhupada's family, and she was brought in such an upbringing. So she being so chaste, she used to do all her bhakti, whatever she was taught in her house, and she used to worship the deities of Radha Krishna. And her husband used to come most days very frail and daunted, but she would take care of him. She would feed him nicely. She would talk to him and give him solace, and but she would never preach devotional service to him. Just normal wife behavior. And over the years, seeing that loyalty of her wife towards him, his heart completely changed. He surrendered to her, his wife. And when he surrendered to his wife, then everything became like he became Krishna conscious, and he started chanting and everything. So this is the ideal situation. And now we know that we cannot be Pishima because we are also struggling. So for us is to constantly pray to Krishna, to the spiritual master, but be as chaste as possible. And one should know that everything that is happening is a mercy of Krishna in the end. Even if the husband is not a devotee and you are facing a lot of problems in your devotional life, that is actually making you run more towards Krishna. So that is itself a blessing. A lot of times we think that I would be better off if I did not have to go to office or get married or do certain things which I don't like. But if we just accept it as the arrangement of the Lord and we just execute it, we'll see the mercy that we receive. Because it is ultimately the goal of a sadhaka and a pure devotee are the same, is to make Krishna smile, is to make Krishna happy. And he is happy when he sees that we are surrendered. And when we are surrendered, then he pulls us up more and more. Because Krishna cannot resist. Krishna can resist everything in this world. He has all the opulences, he is Atma Ram and all that. But surrendered soul, he cannot resist. He needs to have him all for himself. So that is again another point. That he does not want you to get attached to your husband. So he is creating all these obstacles in your life. So you become more attached to him. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Anta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki, Namachaya Shri Haridas Thakur ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Jai Nitai Gaur Premanande.